This is the pattern, yeah. Actually, I should just go into trading view and show you, because I've got it here. This is it. I haven't seen it often, yeah. It's not often you see a quadruple bottom pattern, yeah. Quadruple bottom. It does exist. It's not common. This is what it looks like, yeah. It's not common at all. It's very rare, huh? Quadruple bottoms. Usually it's triple bottom. Sometimes you get quadruple bottoms and the fourth bottom is just a small kind of blip. It's kind of like a quadruple top of Bitcoin. So the example that I can give is this. Look, if you go to Bitcoin, yeah, if you go back to the previous market, you see this? 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that? So it does exist, you know. And if you inverse that and you compare that to TRVL, now what's interesting about this one, it's not the same, because TRVL, the last time we put in a higher low, I think it's really important this time we put in a higher low. I think it wouldn't work if we go in now and we put in another low. It could still work, yeah, lower low. The other difference here is that there was a higher high here. In this context, that was a higher high, so you could have a market structure change, whereas we don't have that. But the idea of a quadruple bottom does exist. This one is a lot more definitive, because it's combined with a market structure change, which was very powerful, and then you ended up with a big move, very big move, with no back test. Actually, just it was a completely big move. And if you compare this fractal, so this is a Bitcoin fractal, obviously, but if you compare this fractal and you kind of extrapolate it, and this isn't, you know, just copy it, cut paste. Let me just take it to TRVL. And actually, this is the inverse, isn't it? So when you're looking at this inverse, look at it. Does it look like it wants to break out? Not really. Look, you're going up and you're putting in higher lows. You know, you're trying to go up. It's trying to push up. It's trying to, I mean, this is the last push. It's the final push. That's what you're looking at. Yeah, it's the fourth push. It's the last one. This is the last attempt to push the price. If this was going up, you'd be really bearish here. But now that it's going down, why are people not bullish? This is the final push, because this is a real pattern. This happened to Bitcoin. It does happen. It's the final push. This is the final push, right? Now, it's hard for people to imagine what needs to happen to get out of here. But you need an explosive move now. Yeah, so the problem is we have actually come down really quickly. That's not a problem if we can go up quickly, but it's combined with really bearish sentiment in the market at a time when the market should be bullish. Yeah. So when Bitcoin was at its highs, even though the market was bullish, the reality is that the smart money, the traders, became really bearish. In this context, everyone is bearish. You know, the reason why it's dumping so badly is because a lot of people are selling. That's why it's dumping so badly, and it's a low volume. It's coming down with low volume. which is also not so bearish. But ultimately, you're going to need buyers, and you're not going to get buyers if the reality is that people are looking for the price. The problem is Bitcoin, actually. The problem is the rest of the crypto market. When you've got the rest of the crypto market pumping, and then you've got this token dumping, that scares people. It really scares people. And then the other problem we have, and this is the other problem, it's a really big problem, is that against BTC, we've put in another all-time low. So it's a problem. Yeah? This isn't good. Huh? It's not good that in the lifetime of this token, you've basically put in kind of 1, 2, 3, how many? 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, 9 all-time lows, just non-stop all-time low against Bitcoin. So it's actually, for an investor, that's really scary. It's like it's a crazy downtrend. Yeah, it's like you could have just kept your money in Bitcoin, and you'd be significantly wealthier than if you bought TRVL. And it doesn't look like it wants to stop. It just wants to keep on bouncing and bounce. You know, like how when is this going to stop? Yeah. There's no sign of it stopping. So we've had like bullish reactions, but we haven't had a bottoming pattern. And what you need, is kind of, you need more impulsive behavior, because you need to change the momentum. The momentum is just crazy to the downside. And without impulsive move, like we had a chance now, we had the real good chance to shake this trend. We've had many chances to shake this trend. That could have been the beginning of an up move. This could have been the beginning of an up move. And we have it now that we've kind of fallen down here. Again, we're going to pull these moving averages down. The momentum is going to shift back to the downside. The only way to get out of this the only way to get out of this is a ginormous explosive move like that, so that even if the momentum is down, it can actually finally do that, so the momentum can now suddenly go up, and it'd have to be a crazy V-shape now. Like, we're in that situation where this now requires to be a crazy V-shape. The problem is a lot of people feel trapped. So if you're accumulating in this range, I can't draw it from you, this range, or I'm just looking at BTC. Oof. Just a little bit of a sell. Let me just have a look at it. We're still in bullish divergence, huh? Coming back today. Oh, that's a big short, huh? Big short just opened. That was a big short. Bullish divergence above daily open. No swing failure. Is there a swing failure? Could it be the lower high that I was talking about? Daily level, there you go. That was a big short, huh? Someone just shorted. I wanted to short. ETH is going up. ETH hasn't really gone down. So maybe it's still going to go and stop them out or something. I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it's a bit premature. I don't know why they shorted so early. I think I'd wait for a swing failure or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's bullish divergence. I want to see some bearish divergence there. So yeah, so right now what I've got is I've got this trend line. Yeah, it's a very rough trend line off the lows, and we've lost the low of the range. That's very clear to see. That's a sign of weakness. That's not a sign of strength, sign of weakness. It was a sign of weakness to lose the point of control or not react to the point of control. And now this is a real sign of weakness, and the biggest sign of weakness against Bitcoin is an all-time low. It's a real sign. So against Bitcoin, it's a massive sign of weakness. There's no way to kind of sugarcoat this. Yeah, this is weakness. Yeah, there's no doubt that this is weakness. Yeah, this is terrible for many reasons, but the biggest reason why I think this is terrible is that we had a really nice 5-wave impulsive move here, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your first big Elliott wave because you've done it off an all-time low pivot. And if you want to continue, and if you want strength against Bitcoin, you do an ABC corrective, and then you start your next wave. Yeah, and then we could go from a wave 1 against Bitcoin into a wave 3 against Bitcoin, and then we could do a nice wave 4 against a 5 against Bitcoin, 4, 5. You could end up back in the highs of the range with a nice 5-wave impulsive move back to the highs, and we'll be riding high in USDT as well. Okay, every time you kind of put in an all-time low here, or you take out the low of the initial wave, you're invalidating that impulsive wave. And then because you're putting another all-time low, it doesn't stop there. There's no swing failure here. You end up expanding. And so in this context, I've drawn out the fib, expansive fib, and you've got the 1.272, which kind of corresponds with this trend line. That's probably the first area of big resistance, but it's technical resistance. There's nothing there. There's no volume in negative price discovery, which is where we are. We're in negative price discovery. So we've never had these kind of ratio prices against Bitcoin. This is the first time. Okay, now this is a weird chart. It doesn't give you the correct values, but if I'm looking at the TRVL Bitcoin chart, you can see the correct values. This is in Satoshis. So right now we've never been at 3,106 Satoshis against Bitcoin before, ever. This is the first time. Yeah, this is price discovery. This is inverse price discovery against Bitcoin. And when I show you the chart in USDT, it could top out because of what I showed you. This just keeps on putting in higher highs and higher lows. So there's no way to know if this is going to top out, because every time it dips, it just goes right back up and it puts in another low every single time. It's been doing that ever since this token came to fruition. It's been doing that. Okay, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge because the pattern has continued. There's been no changes in the pattern, which suggests there's been no changes in the strategy or the attitude of the project. So maybe the project is on the wrong track when it comes to crypto, because right now crypto doesn't have confidence in the project. Crypto doesn't. Maybe the real world does. Maybe businesses do. Maybe operators do. But crypto doesn't have any confidence in this project, and the project doesn't know how to turn this around. Okay. Ultimately, it comes down to value, and I just don't know if people value TRVL as much as I do. And maybe because I actually use Dtravel as an operator, and I understand the use cases because it has an actual impact on my business. So this is me. And TRVL is currently trading at 3.1 cents, which would make it an $11 million market cap. Dtravel turned over $1 million in gross revenue in the last year and a bit. So what would you value an AID pin RWA, real world asset with a full working life product, tried, tested and grown? Exponentially, in brackets, not potentially exponentially, it's not exponential yet, but potentially exponentially. So I think it's undervalued, like it really is undervalued, but the token doesn't reflect the value. Okay, the reason why the token doesn't reflect the value, because right now in crypto, most of the value is get rich quick, speculative value. Yeah, how to get rich quick. And TRVL isn't showing the signs of the ability for people to increase their crypto value in comparison to other tokens which have increasing volume, increasing growing crypto networks, and increasing interest, and on growing, expanding networks on multiple exchanges, where people don't necessarily value this because the crypto side of it doesn't show it, doesn't demonstrate it. And so I think the priority is that there has to be a massive shift in strategy when it comes to crypto. And the other problem is, and this is a real big problem, I don't know if the community has confidence in Dtravel anymore. I think they've lost confidence, and so it's a problem for me too, because I'm getting criticized when I haven't done anything wrong. Okay, I've literally not looked. I posted this, and this guy goes, "TRVL scammed everyone, and you supported them." What the fuck? Of course, I supported them. I'm an operator. I've transacted. I've made money on my real world business through them. They've helped me. Why wouldn't I support them? And he says he's an investor. I didn't get allocation from them. I supported them because I like the utility. And then he's getting rude. And this is the problem. I'm getting a recurring. This isn't the first conversation I've had, not publicly. Here on my X, someone else wrote something. Look here. Bro, it's the worst coin ever, etc. I've shown you. And I get a lot of private messages, and it's the same kind of comments. I get a lot of private messages. And I share all of that feedback. And the problem is that the sentiment of the market has completely changed compared to a year ago, a year and a half ago, where everyone was extremely positive, extremely bullish, extremely excited about TRVL and Dtravel. And now people are actually really disappointed, really upset, not happy at all. And they're showing it, and they're very kind of vocal about it. And it really is a challenge to get these kinds of people to buy back in. And also it's that energy is infectious, because other people see that, other people feel the performance is lackluster. They don't have the view that I have. They're not positive. They're not seeing it in terms of crypto the way I see it, and they're not seeing it in terms of the real world business the way I see it. And when it comes to the real world business, I think I've got it here. When it comes to the real world business, there's no way for me to ignore. There's no way for me to ignore that, is there? There's no way for me to ignore that. That's 27 completed bookings, $45,000 real world realized earnings. That's 4.5% of the gross income of Dtravel. I've done a lot of work, like to make this happen. So when I see that it's working, and it's actually a real world business, and it has the potential to grow exponentially, a lot of people don't see it the way I see it. So I try to explain it to people. They don't necessarily see it the way I see it. Irrelevant, because the crypto side of it, what we need to do is, first and foremost, we need to put in a higher low here. It's really important. Higher lows are really important. There's no way that I want to see a lower low here, for reasons that I've explained before. Even though against Bitcoin we've put in a lower low, if we can put in a higher low here somewhere, then our Elliott wave count against USDT is still valid. That's wave 1. The next one is the wave 3, and then we enter the wave 5, and that's wave 3 complete. And because of the pattern that I showed here, it's very likely that if we do manage to impulse out of here with 5 waves, it will take us to 30 cents. Okay, the next one, very likely it'll be just like it'll be like the Bitcoin thing fractal that I showed you, except that's in reverse. Like that. Oh, so it doesn't do it. I can't show you because the Bitcoin one's in reverse. Well, actually, maybe I can, because maybe I can do it like that. Yeah. Quadruple bottom, basically. It's the same thing, really, isn't it? Different context, but it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's happened before in other tokens. It's not common. It's like an accumulation pattern, but because of the illiquid nature of the market, you get these really crazy swings. If the market was more liquid, it'd be more like a Wyckoff accumulation. Yeah. The problem is, because it's an illiquid market, you get these crazy swings, but effectively what you're looking at is an accumulation pattern. Effectively, this is what it is. It's an accumulation pattern. So there's no reason to get bearish at the lows. Yeah. It's difficult for a lot of people because they're expecting to pump with everything else next month. We may not pump next month. It's possible we don't pump next month. We may pump in May or June or July. Okay. But we will pump, and we will pump, and we will go to 30 cents, and then we will probably go to all-time high. Yeah, it will happen. Eventually it will happen, because what I'm looking at now is a higher time frame accumulation pattern. If people have the patience to hodl, they will be well rewarded in the future. Okay. That being said, I would love it if we could just pump in the next 2 months and get to 30 cents more quickly. I think it would help us, because it gives people the opportunity to make some money, because they and also it gives us a chance to ride the next wave with Bitcoin after the correction, whenever that happens. But if it doesn't happen in the next few months with everyone else, and we are kind of here a little bit, eventually, you know, Bitcoin will take us to higher prices. Eventually it will happen. Yeah, it just means that we just need to bottom out here, and then certain things need to happen within Dtravel that return confidence back to the investors, or to the people who are looking to buy. And so effectively what needs to happen is that people need to be given the incentive to buy as much TRVL as quickly as possible and not sell it. So you just have to tick those 2 boxes. If you can create the environment where people need to buy as much as possible and not sell it for whatever reason, whether it's utility, or whether it's increasing value, or whether it's because the rest of the market is just desperate to buy it for whatever reason, and people want to buy it quicker than others, and so there's this mad rush to buy it, like a gold rush to buy TR. That's what you need to do. So if you can't answer those 2 questions, then it's pointless, because it will just go up and down with the market, and it will just be stuck in this range until it can eventually break out. Or you need or you just need big investors to come in and just buy up and just shoot it up and start pumping it. And there's a little bit of market manipulation involved there. But short of those 2 things, we're just going to have to let this fully bottom out. It just means it's not ready to go up. Yeah, it gives people an opportunity to accumulate, but it's really frustrating when other tokens go up and this one doesn't, because people are always trying to catch the pump, catch the wave. So that's why it's always good to just have a diverse portfolio, and eventually TRVL will get to 1.656 cents. And if people have managed to accumulate and up to 1 million, then they'll walk away with 1.6 million, and it's amazing, you know. Just, it's a very easy play, but it's a long play. It's a very long play. And so I don't think it's a bad strategy to be able to do that, but it's obviously not a great strategy if you're all in and you're just watching the rest of the crypto pump while TRVL at times struggles. At times when it's pumping, no one complains, yeah, but when it's dumping, people are always complaining. Now, I'm the first to critique Dtravel. I don't work for them. Yeah, I can say what I want. They can't control me. And in the last 6 months, I haven't said anything bad against Dtravel. Doesn't mean I don't have critique. Yeah, I've just purposely not just decided not to FUD the project. And see, because in the past people criticized me for FUDding Dtravel back in July, and I decided not to this time. So back in July, when we were at the lows here, August, July here, I made a video. It was very critical of Dtravel, and then some people said, well, you FUDded it and it crashed. Well, no, I didn't FUD it and crash. I told the truth when it was already at the lows. But I didn't like that someone criticized me because they blamed me for the crash. So I've decided not to do anything, and I didn't say anything. I've just been positive throughout. I'm still positive. But hey, look what's happening. It's going back down. So it's got nothing to do with me. Absolutely got nothing to do with me. It's something else. And the problem is now that the sentiment of the people is to sell. And so we're going to have this problem where every time it pumps, people are going to sell. The main reason why they're going to sell is they feel trapped. And the reason they feel trapped is because it's been in this long, hectic, sideways motion range for such a long period of time. And it doesn't seem like Dtravel are doing anything about an increase in token value, right? I'm not here to give you any guarantees about the future. I don't know if that's going to change. I do know that they've told me that certain things will change, but sometimes the real change that is required is a little bit higher up. Sometimes you need a different kind of change. Yeah, I'm happy to help. I've told them that I'm happy to get more involved and be the change that they need to help them get out of this. I would turn this around very quickly because I know what we need to do to get out of this. Yeah, and sometimes you need a relaunch of sometimes you need a relaunch, you need a fresh vision, you need a fresh face, and you need to just start things over. And that will get investors who've left get them back interested, because they'll see that there's a big shift in direction. Fundamentally, the biggest problem has been that we haven't made it a DAO. If it was a DAO from day one, then the community would have kind of guided the Dtravel team, and they wouldn't have allowed them to do certain things which were problematic for the token price, and focus on the token price. If it was a DAO, then the DAO could have directed them, but also would have given the DAO real value in the TRVL, and then people would, if they wanted to influence the project, they could accumulate more TRVL, have more of a say, and therefore direct it in the direction that they had envisioned. But we haven't been given that opportunity, and actually, unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to be given that opportunity. And so that's part of the problem that we're experiencing, because the direction hasn't necessarily been on the path that people wanted. And if it's not on the path that people wanted, and if they can't influence that path, then they're not going to accumulate TRVL to try to do that. And so there are some things that need to change, but I think that personally, I think we probably just have to be patient if nothing changes, and we'll probably still get there. Probably it's a risk that we crash through the floor. There's a risk. There's always a risk. So patterns don't always play out. There's always a risk that this is luck cluster and we collapse. There's a risk there because you have a supply zone, you have a demand zone. But if you run out of demand at this zone, and people here start to feel under the pressure because the price isn't going up anymore and it's back down, like if you end up like this, then the next move is to the downside in a very big way. You end up with a one-to-one corrective move. This is a big correction. Yeah, it'd be the opportunity of a lifetime to buy TRVL, but if a token that has no value ultimately, because you don't have any say in the future of the project. If you had a say in the future of a project, then it would have value, and then you would be able to accumulate and take over the project and run things differently. But unfortunately, this is definitely on the table. Sure, if we don't have the ability to put a higher low and zip out of this, and That's kind of what we need to do, is from high low and zip out of this, smash through the supply zone, back test it, and then smack, and then go up. Are you in the down? No, I'm not in the down. I told you there is no down, and that's part of the problem. There's no down. Okay, and so this is where we are. It's, you know, TRVL has been a hobby of mine. I've supported them. I've tried my best to help them with the product. I've gained nothing, actually. I've gained no value. I could have traded it and made more money. Yeah, the money that I've put in TRVL, I haven't made any money from it. No penny. It's been 3 years making videos, nearly 100 videos. No money. No, nearly 200 videos. I've gained nothing. Yeah, but I have kind of gained followers on YouTube, so there is a benefit. And, you know, people can see that my passion and my commitment, so maybe that has some value too. You know, I'm not a quitter, and I don't walk away easy from I think Bitcoin is looking to go down now. I might short. Doesn't look good. Yeah. So anyway, that's my TRVL update. I'm going to put this in the video. If you've got any questions, come into my Discord. Link is underneath this video. Come and have a chat to me on my Discord. Everyone's welcome. We chat about TRVL. And I don't think it's a good idea to sell, but people are selling. I think it's better to just ride it out, because you're just going to get poor fills and big slippage, and you're going to lose more in the drop. If you're worried, you should just de-risk a little bit, you know, scale out a little bit if you're worried and if you've got too much. But I don't think it's good to start selling, because we're already oversold. We're like crazy oversold. The other thing that people don't realize is that even though I said there's possibly some kind of bearish divergence is forming on the absolutely higher time frame, I can clearly see that on the daily time frame here, even though we had bullish divergence and we've invalidated it, you see, that was the invalidate. This is the invalidation. See that? It was bullish until we took out that low, and then this became bearish, so it just followed. So it was leading. So now the key pivot at the moment on this is here, isn't it? It's here. So we still have some kind of bearish divergence from this pivot to this pivot. Okay, from this pivot to pivot. Again, if you take out the all-time low, you've absolutely invalidated the all-time lows here. If you take out this pivot, you've absolutely invalidated all of the bullish divergence, and it's a hard pill to swallow. Okay, so ideally what we want to do is we don't want to invalidate the bullish divergence. We need to bottom out, or we need a crazy V-shaped recovery. At the moment it might not be on the table, but you know, crypto's a crazy place. Crazy things happen when you least expect them. If there's big investors looking at Dtravel and TRVL, they might be looking to pick this up and take it right back up. Who knows? No one really knows how this is going to play out. So it's probably better to do nothing if you're locked in. Anyway, that's my Dtravel TRVL update. It's not depressing because, like I said, we could be in this kind of pattern. Okay, but at the same time, if we can't get out of here, then we'll have a big sell-off. Sometimes those big sell-offs are the impulsive price actions that you need to get out of it. Like I don't want to say it's going to happen. I don't really know what's going to happen. I kind of want us to go down really quickly now and for this to play out. Sometimes this is what you need to do this. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes that is the last shakeout, the final shakeout. And this is the first impulsive move, and then you get this crazy impulsive move, and it never falls back down because there's a lot of volume comes in to push it up. Yeah. Crypto, you just can't predict the future. You just have to see what happens. Yeah. I don't know. It could do that. It could do that. It could do that. Yeah. So many things that could happen. So at the moment, I'm looking at that. And also, it could just do whatever. It could just keep on going sideways. Who knows? All right. So that's TRVL.